This is NewsBreak26 in Southwest New Brunswick. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Here's what's happening in our part of the world. The Atlantic bubble is reopening on April 19th. The Council of Atlantic Premiers announced on Thursday. The decision to reintroduce the bubble, which allows residents of the 4 Atlantic provinces to travel within the region without having to self-isolate, is conditional upon COVID-19 case numbers remaining low in the region. Nova Scotia Premier Iain Rankin loosened travel restrictions a step further in his province by announcing on Friday that New Brunswickers can now travel into Nova Scotia without having to isolate.
We know that restrictions have been difficult for people and businesses in our Amherst border communities. Therefore, given the low case numbers, effective at 8 a.m. Saturday, New Brunswick residents coming to Nova Scotia will not have to self-isolate. And Nova Scotians who travel to New Brunswick when they return home will no longer have to self-isolate.
The Nova Scotia Premier's decision, however, has not been reciprocated by New Brunswick. In a statement to CHCO, New Brunswick Public Health said, quote, "Currently, anyone entering the province will be required to self-isolate for 14 days, including New Brunswickers returning from Nova Scotia. We have announced that no later than April 19th, we will be reopening the Atlantic bubble conditional upon COVID-19 case numbers remaining low, containing outbreaks and advice from public health." The province announced on Friday that it has decided against selling cannabis NB to a private owner, despite entertaining several proposals for the purchase of the Crown Corporation. The province originally announced plans to sell cannabis NB in late 2019 during its early stages when it was still operating at a loss. This past year, however, increased profits have allowed cannabis NB to recoup its initial startup costs, making selling it to a private operator less desirable at this time. This is welcome news to Tanner Stewart of Stewart Farms in St. Stephen.
And it was fantastic news. You had 200 immensely happy and proud cannabis NB staffers and management. Our industry was relieved that the province didn't take this step in a very wrong direction.
Stewart employs 20 people at his St. Stephen company, where he makes a range of products, including cannabis topicals such as bath bombs. Thanks to the growth of the current marketplace, Stewart expects to employ at least 60 people in the St. Stephen area in the coming year.
But the next step is opening up the industry to the entire province and really removing what is currently a government-run monopoly. Monopolies are not good, no matter if it's government-run or private.
The Department of Post-Secondary Education, Training and Labour plans to spend approximately $85,000 researching how systemic racism affects members of New Brunswick's Black community. The funding will go towards creating a team of researchers. The team will include professional researchers, members of the New Brunswick Community College, and Matthew Martin, the president of Black Lives Matter New Brunswick and co-host of New Brunswickers Want Action on CHCO-TV.
Currently, there's no benchmarks, there's no data or real numbers to look at to say how does systemic racism affect our Black community members. For example, we wouldn't be able to tell you our specific education outcomes here in New Brunswick. We may be able to look at maybe, what stands for Canada, but we don't know anything specific for New Brunswick.
The study will focus on uncovering key indicators of systemic racism and will also seek to determine the best practices to end systemic racism. Finally, New Brunswickers will head to the polls for the second time during the pandemic for municipal elections taking place on May 10th. Nominations opened officially on March 22nd and will remain open until April 9th at 2 p.m. Mayor Doug Naish officially announced that he is re-offering for Mayor of St. Andrews on Monday. He spoke to CHCO a few weeks ago about his experiences on council and why he thinks there will be many great local candidates seeking to run in this election to represent St. Andrews.
I'll tell you that for me it's been a wonderful experience through the 4 years I spent as a councillor and the 5 years I've spent, almost 5 years now as mayor. And I think we're very lucky in this community is that we have lots of people who fit that description as far as I'm concerned, and I look forward to having a lot of people involved.
That's all the news I have for you. For more stories and live coverage of COVID-19 updates for New Brunswick, follow us on Facebook at CHCO.TV.
A news and public affairs production of CHCO-TV, New Brunswick's only source for independent community television.